You stink.
Culpepper and the Minnesota Vikings are armed and dangerous. Can Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers stop the Viking onslaught? Showdown at Lambeau on Monday Night Football at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC.
This is WTAE-TV Pittsburgh. Right now, Channel 4 Action News is taking action for you.
Good evening. We begin tonight with some breaking news out of Denora, Washington County.
A young baby has been rushed to the hospital after nearly drowning in the family bathtub. It happened at a housing development in Denora. Police are on the scene investigating right now. Children's Hospital tells us the baby is in critical condition. Look for more on this story tomorrow morning on Action News. And now for our other big story tonight.
So you be smart. Tell your friends, tell your family. Vote for Al Gore and Joe Biden.
Woodard and Rob Reiner. Let's hear
it. The big countdown is on. Just 48 hours till the big election. The stars are out in our area tonight helping to get support for Al Gore. As you know, this is one of the tightest presidential races in our nation's history.
A race 2 days before the election, that's still too close to call. 270 electoral votes are needed to win. The latest tracking poll showed George Bush ahead with 224 votes and Al Gore with 181 votes. But 133 votes are still up for grabs. Pennsylvania is indeed a key battleground state, still undecided. Governor George Bush attended a large rally here yesterday. Today, he took a bus tour of Florida, talking to senior citizens all along the way. Al Gore spent his morning in Philadelphia urging black voters to make it to the polls. From there, he headed to Michigan. All this as some big-name stars came out, urging folks to vote for Gore. Rob Reiner, Ben Affleck, Helen Hunt, and others attended this rally in the Valley at the Stockdale Fire Hall in Stockdale, Washington County. But can they help make a difference? They started their stump from the Gore phone bank in downtown Pittsburgh. That begins tonight's Commitment 2000 coverage. Hollywood A-list actor Ben Affleck is downplaying the long hours he's putting in for Al Gore. He says it's just part of being a citizen in a democracy.
It requires work and it requires energy, and I think that I'm just doing my part, and as much as I think people should do their parts, and particularly because I've enjoyed a lot of good fortune and I've enjoyed a lot of success in this country.
So he and some of his Hollywood friends hit the phones to try to turn out the Democrat vote here in western Pennsylvania.
Oh, hi, this is Julia Louis-Dreyfus calling, and I'm volunteering right now for the Gore-Lieberman campaign.
And just a few cubicles down is Alfre Woodard. Ellen Hunt's working the phones, and so is Dule Hill, who plays a political staffer on the West Wing. But not everyone finds the performance convincing.
They're just actors. They don't even play themselves. You know what I mean? Their job is to be fake, to be someone else. Why would I listen to an actor?
Still, they're talking. 7 cities last weekend, and they're hitting 8 or 9 this weekend.
It's our way of walking the precincts. I mean, we're national figures. All the people here are national figures, and our precinct is America, so this is our way of walking the precincts.
But it does catch a lot of people off guard on the other end of the line.
Sometimes they go, no. Who is this? Is this my cousin? I'm like, no, it's not your cousin. I'm not kidding. It's not a joke. But it's fun. I think it's good to be involved.
And once they realize it, there are those who try to capitalize on having a celebrity on the line.
They may try to stray away from message, but I don't stray away from message. Vote Gore.
And the campaign visits are not over yet. We've just received word the vice president's daughter, Karenna Gore-Schiff, will be in town tomorrow. In the morning, she'll visit Gore's campaign headquarters downtown. Then we'll meet with seniors at the Lawrenceville Senior Center around 1 p.m. And the stars weren't the only ones campaigning for Al Gore in Pittsburgh today.
The Democratic committee came to town also hoping to get some support. Chairman Ed Rendell and Clinton cabinet members are on a statewide bus tour. They're hoping to shore up Pennsylvania's 23 electoral votes. Even actress Morgan Fairchild is touring with the group. They stopped at the Pitt Technology Center on 2nd Avenue today. Rendell said Pittsburghers need to go to the polls and vote for Gore.
This administration has had a great record on the economy, and that record has been felt most keenly in American cities that were the hardest hit as we entered the early 90s.
The statewide bus tour ends tomorrow. Meanwhile, instead of a bus, they were using their feet. Campaign workers made the rounds in Wilkinsburg today. Volunteers went door to door and even window to window, urging people to support Al Gore. The NAACP also visited homes this weekend with the message, every vote counts.
Despite all the attention to Gore, the Bush campaign did receive a big boost today. Bush picked up the endorsement of the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review. The paper said although the country is enjoying economic success, it has come at a price to Americans' freedom and sense of morality. And dozens gathered tonight for a candlelight prayer vigil sponsored by the Republican Party. Folks gathered at the Greater Works Outreach in Monroeville. The group rallied for their candidates and lit candles as symbols of hope. And determined to make a difference, the GOP volunteers worked the phone banks of the Republican headquarters on Penn Avenue downtown. Using voter registration charts, they called Republican and independent voters, urging them to get out to the polls. The volunteers say George Bush is the right man for the job, and they're sure they're heading to victory.
Meantime, top Pennsylvania Republicans are also campaigning hard for Bush. Among those making the talk show rounds this weekend, Senator Arlen Specter. He appeared on CNN's Late Edition trying to reassure voters Bush's Social Security plan is a good one.
We're going to be facing a lot of problems in the future with an expanding pool of Social Security recipients. And I think that Governor Bush's plan is sound because most of it will be set aside without being in the stock market.
Specter says under Bush's plan, he's sure Social Security will be saved. Stay with ABC and Action News for complete coverage on election night. Look to us for results throughout the evening. You can also get instant information by logging on to our website at thepittsburghchannel.com. And now to some other stories making news tonight.
Investigators are trying to figure out what caused the fire that killed an elderly woman this morning. It happened on Orchard Street in Springdale. 77-year-old Lillian Armstrong couldn't make it out of the house in time. You can't see much damage from the outside, but inside at least one room was destroyed. Investigators spent much of today at the scene. They hope to know more by tomorrow. Also tonight, a warning from state police in Westmoreland County. An elderly woman was scammed out of nearly $50,000. Troopers say the woman was told she won more than $1 million in a Canadian lottery, but in order to collect her prize, she was told to send cash to reserve the jackpot. Police are warning everyone to avoid these kinds of offers.
It was a chance for the Steelers to make it 6 in a row, but it wasn't meant to be. After a tough defensive struggle with the Tennessee Titans, the team came up short, missing the chance to move to within one game of first place. Andrew Stocky's live in the newsroom tonight. Andrew, they were so close.
Oh, Sean, so close, but oops, the Titans have done it again, beating the Steelers for the second time this season in the final moments. This time an Al Del Greco field goal with 4 seconds to play. The Steelers appear to have pulled off the upset, just over 8 minutes left. Cordell Stewart hits Mark Bruner, who breaks free. Bruner goes for the 30-yard touchdown to take the lead, only to have Tennessee boot the game-winning kick. Tennessee takes the game 9-7.
We don't score enough points to win a football game. That's the bottom line. You know, offensively, we didn't score enough points, and you know, these type of games, you've got to find a way to put points on the board.
Well, the last-second loss snaps the Steeler win streak at 5. And, Sean, coming up, we've got highlights, interviews, and Bill Hillgrove's take. That's in Action Sports.
I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about that defense. Andrew,
yes.
Thank you very much. Well, still ahead tonight on Action News, it's a story that is sure to touch your heart.
Just take a moment and look at these pictures. These are the faces of some of the poorest children in the world. They've had little hope, but now a group of Pittsburghers is working to help them. You'll meet them and hear their stories coming up.
And we're headed into the first full week of November, the second week so far, and temperatures aren't changing much. In fact, we'll include a few rain showers, but no drastic cool down. How long can we keep living this way? Get the DiNardo Weather Watch coming up.
$1 million a day. That's right. Play for $1 million a day. Who wants to be a millionaire on 4?
Let's play.
Be the first caller with a number on the screen to win $100. Then play for $4,000 or $1 million a day. That's right. $1 million a day on Action News at 5.
Looking for a great way to transport your valuables? Chevy Blazer. It has more passenger room than Jeep Cherokee and the largest displacement V6 engine in its class, standard. Plus, a smart lease as low as $299 a month makes a true sense of security affordable. Residency restrictions apply. Call for important lease details. The Blazer $299 Smart Lease. See your local Chevy dealer today.
Introducing something totally new from Verizon Wireless. It's called New Every 2. We'll give you a new digital phone up to $100 value every 2 years for free when you sign up for a 2-year agreement. So you'll always have the latest in wireless technology. It's never been easier to keep up with what's new. New Every 2, only from Verizon Wireless. Join in.
There's a South American city with a larger population than Pittsburgh, a city where 85% of the people are either underemployed or unemployed.
Since 1963, the Pittsburgh Catholic Diocese has been reaching out to the people of Chimbote, Peru. Mike Clark visited the mission. He joins us now with the story of faith, hope, and love. Mike?
Sean and Ted, in this Jubilee year of 2000, photojournalist Pat Walsh and I traveled to South America with Bishop Donald Worrell. It took more than 20 hours, 3 planes, and a 3-hour bus ride along the Pacific Ocean through the lunar-like desert landscape just to get to the Peru mission. We saw how Pittsburghers are using their faith and love to maintain the bridge to Chimbote. You wonder how they survive. Born into some of the most horrible conditions in the world, tens of thousands of families live in desert huts, straw shacks with no water, no power. The sand serves as their floors. These are the people of Chimbote. Tuberculosis, cholera, malnutrition. Just some of the diseases attacking and killing the most vulnerable. It's difficult to imagine the pain they have suffered, the struggles their eyes have seen. Missionaries here tell me that the reaction from first-time visitors like me is always the same. How in the world can children live in these conditions? Listening to their plight, hearing their cries for help, you realize it's a place forgotten by most of the world. But the people of Pittsburgh have not forgotten. In 1963, the Catholic Diocese built a bridge to this desert city more than 4,000 miles away. The priests planted social seeds in education, healthcare, and spirituality. Their extraordinary love and unselfish giving may be one of Pittsburgh's best-kept secrets. It's easy to see why the people of Peru call the Pittsburgh Social Work Center and Hospital their oasis in this desert wasteland. Father Jules Roos began his 5-year assignment 37 years ago.
The longer you're here, the more you become appalled with the fact that people live this way, and the people are so neglected and so forth. And you feel almost obliged to continue on helping them.
Jules Roos grew up in Bellevue during the Depression era with his 4 brothers, right across the street from Assumption Church. He served as an altar boy and was drawn to church life.
As long as I can remember, I wanted to be a priest.
He dreamed of becoming a missionary priest and is now living that dream. Father Roos is the face of Pittsburgh's commitment to these people.
He's not only the living symbol of the connectedness that these people have with the rest of the human family, he's the one that keeps the whole effort going. I think that's what touches me when I come here. They're not all alone. And that's part of the whole idea of the Pittsburgh Bridge.
Father Roos's fingerprints are all over this sandy landscape. From churches to the hospital campus to a high school academy, Father Roos helped lead the construction of all the facilities. More than 3 million people have received compassionate care from the earliest moments of their lives, all because of the Pittsburgh Bridge to Chimbote. Working with Father Roos these past 30-plus years, Sisters Lillian Bachheim and Margaret Mary Birchmeyer. Together, they trained the 86 locals who help care for patients.
I like working here, helping others in need. I need to also take care of my own family.
Nellie is a maternity specialist, helping expectant mothers deal with their growing children inside. calming fears and concerns along the way. For Nellie, this is more than a job. It's emotional. It's a calling. She worked here for 10 years before discovering that she was born here, delivered by her coworker and mother figure, Sister Margaret, 32 years ago.
I feel lucky being born here. I had been working here for 10 years. Then I discovered I was born here. It confirmed what I felt. It's just like being in your own home here. It was very emotional.
Father Roos believes the bridge to Pittsburgh needs more workers like Nellie, as Chimbotanos try to make it on their own.
How do you make something self-sufficient if it can't support itself? Are we to just decide that this whole segment of humanity, we'll just discard it, or do you go in there and do you try to improve things for them?
Watching how he lives his priestly vows, you can understand why Father Jules says he wants to stay here forever.
What do you want your legacy to be here when it's all said and done? What do you want people to know about Jules Roos and his work here?
As far as I'm concerned, they can forget Jules Roos, but I would like them to see this work as something that must be carried on, to build a staff that can carry on this work even after we're not here.
Until then, he will lead the mission, rocking the precious new lives in his arms, wrapping children up in a loving start to a very difficult life, one little one at a time.
Padre Julio. Next Sunday, we're going to go out to the slums where every day missionaries go on foot searching for the most needy to get them medical help. And Sean and Ted, to watch these men and women in action every single day doing this, they treat these poor strangers with such a dignity and a love that they otherwise wouldn't get. They're very proud of this Pittsburgh partnership.
You must have been overcome with emotion just to be there. I mean, we weren't even there, but just to look at the pictures, it was incredible.
Part 2 is next Sunday, and it's just chock full of emotion.
Real picture of hope, but I imagine there's a lot of work still to do.
A lot of work ahead, yeah.
All right. We'll look forward to seeing you next Sunday, Mike.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, it's hard to believe, but the weekend is over, and it's time to think about heading back to work and school.
Well, find out what you can expect weather-wise. Meteorologist Stephen Cropper is less than 2 minutes away with your DiNardo forecast. Stay with us.
Live closed captioning of Action News is sponsored in part by Western Pennsylvania School for the Deaf. As votes are counted, watch Action News Commitment 2000 coverage, live from every major race. Commitment 2000 Election Night on WTAE-TV.
Melissa Hart, she didn't just give us promises, she gave us results. While others promised lower taxes, Melissa Hart delivered, helping to lower the tax burden on families and small businesses. She didn't just promise to do something about prescription drugs. Melissa Hart expanded Pennsylvania's PACE program, helping seniors get the prescription drugs they need. And she didn't just promise to improve our schools, she fought to spend more dollars in the classroom and make our schools more accountable. Melissa Hart, she didn't give us promises, she gave us results. Who'll do a better job protecting your family? Mike Fisher's written some of Pennsylvania's toughest crime laws, including our death penalty bill. As Attorney General, he's reduced violent crimes, sued the tobacco companies for $11 billion, and helped make over 5,000 drug arrests. Jim Eisenhower, he's never written a crime bill. He makes a living defending criminals. Eisenhower says he wants to eliminate the Bureau of Narcotics Investigations. No wonder not one police organization has endorsed him. Protect your family. Vote Fisher for Attorney General.
There is nothing subliminal about this ad. Bobby Casey Jr. used his first term to promote Bobby Casey Jr. He ignored the job you gave him and would quit the job he's running for. He puts his ambition to be governor ahead of doing his job for us. You don't know this Bob Casey. You can't trust this Bob Casey. There is nothing subliminal about this ad. It's all here in black and white.
So far, so good as far as the forecast goes. It looks like we're going to hang on to one more day before a brief little hiccup or pothole comes as we hit the midweek point. At the hour, though, things are smooth, clear skies. In fact, again at Pittsburgh International, 35, the cool start this morning. Made it only up to 52, but there was plenty of sunshine around, so subliminally, It at least felt a little warmer, I hope. 37.55 the normals. We were only 2 degrees off the mark on the cool side for the day. Clear and 10 at Pittsburgh International. Current air temperature floating in at 38. Relative humidity at 64%. The winds are calm, 30.07, and a steady barometer. And in fact, those calm winds will set the stage for a little cooler temperature scheme as you wake up tomorrow morning. And it's good to be normal. Normal is good as often as possible, and we're using normal in reference to the normal high temperature. We're headed into the second week of November, and no real sign of a big dip in the thermometer. In fact, the trend coming up this week calls for numbers to be within 4 or 5 degrees of normal, and in fact on Tuesday, before the passage of a cool front that will drop us by the end of the week, temperatures will recover and in fact roll up to about 60. So a nice week shaping up temperature-wise. Just a few clouds and a few showers. All in all, some fine fall-type weather coming up. Clear skies tonight, though, will allow the numbers to fall. Lots of clear skies real estate-wise, stretching back over to Dayton with the leading edge of some high-level clouds starting to sneak in as you get into Indiana. Those clouds working to form a bit of a blanket there, so the numbers are milder in Indiana as compared to Pittsburgh. And in fact, this will be our number for tomorrow night as that system rolls its way towards us and begins to thicken up the cloud deck for the daytime tomorrow. Daytime tomorrow will include numbers a little bit milder. There is a front back to the west, as clearly seen with the big dip in the contours of the colors here. Lots of cold air pocketing in now to the western plains, and that will be inching its way towards us. And as it moves towards us, it at the same time bumps up some of the warmth that's back to the west. So we will tap into this last gasp of warm air as we get into Tuesday. Then we'll begin to cool things down. Satellite radar does show the storms, one spinning to the north and another monster coming out of the southern parts of the plains. Tornado warnings or watch boxes have been hoisted there through the evening, and we will see some of the rainfall from that with nowhere near the intensity as we travel into Tuesday night and into Wednesday. High pressure will be the dominant influence tomorrow. It skates to the east. Clouds thicken up during the day. Showers come rolling in, but it looks like they won't arrive locally until after midnight tomorrow night. Futurecast shows the showers in for the early morning hours on Tuesday into Wednesday, and then a bit of a break as the front finally sneaks on through. 24-hour Donardo Weather Watch, fair and cool as you travel out tomorrow morning. Cool in reference to the normal low. We are starting to drop a little bit as far as our normals go. Through the day tomorrow, some sunshine, thickening up cloud deck, 58 the high temperature into tomorrow night. After midnight, we expect the rain shower chance. Temperature in at 44. And then election day, you can't blame the weather this year. 60 degrees the number, just a few scattered showers and on the mild side. The extended forecast for you to get you through the next 7 and into the next upcoming weekend if you're looking that far ahead. Hiccup day seems to be Tuesday with rain showers. We sort of cool things off as we get towards Friday and then back for Saturday and Sunday. Temperature's not drastically cold, so keep your fingers crossed, Sean and Ted. So far, no real cold blast coming our way.
All right.
Good.
Stephen, thank you.
Thank you. 5 in a row, but the Steelers could not make it 6.
Reaction from the locker room. Action Sports is next.
My father said to me, it's not about budgets and numbers and accounting ledgers. It's about people. And you've got to go in there and fight for people. Families in this state want some peace of mind. Public service is a public trust given in faith and accepted in honor. It's not ours. It's given to us in trust. I think that obligation to make sure that state government is there for working families in Pennsylvania will stay with me for a long time.
What did politician Barbara Hafer do with our taxes? She bought herself and her friends lobsters, $30 steaks, fancy cocktails. We even paid for dry cleaning and for clothing. That's what a state audit said Hafer did with our tax dollars. Catherine Baker Knoll earned Pennsylvania's working families nearly $2 billion, created the tax-free tuition account program, supports more money to cover prescription drugs. Hafer is lobsters, $30 steaks, politics. On Election Day, choose performance. Elect Catherine Baker Knoll, State Treasurer.
Health America Health Assurance ranks highest among area health plans in helping people get care quickly. If you're about to choose a health plan, that's something you should know. Health America Health Assurance provides access to alternative treatments that some health plans won't even touch. If you're about to choose a health plan, that's something you should know.
I believe we need to encourage personal responsibility so people are accountable for their actions. And I believe in government that is responsible to the people. There's a big difference in philosophy between my opponent and me. He trusts government, I trust you. I trust you to invest some of your own Social Security money for higher returns. I trust local people to run their own schools. I trust you with some of the budget surplus. We should help people live their lives, but not run them. I'm asking for your vote.
Live with Andrew Stockey, this is Channel 4 Action Sports.
Well, the Steelers have won 5 straight. The Titans on a 7-game roll. Unfortunately, it would be the black and gold leaving the Music City singing the blues. Let's go to Nashville, home of the Freak Show, where defense rules. Steve McNair going for the first touchdown of the game, but Joey Porter says, I don't think so. The Steeler defense didn't break, but it did bend quite a bit. Air McNair in the second quarter going downfield, finding Chris Sanders, who beats Chad Scott with a grab to set up one of 2 Tennessee field goals. 6-0 Titans, less than 9 minutes to go. Cordell Stewart to Mark Bruner. It's Bruner's first touchdown catch in 2 years. The Steelers ahead 7-6, and just 1 play away from victory. Here it is, 4th down and 8 at the Steeler 42. Air McNair, last chance, finds Derek Mason for 17 yards to keep the drive alive. Long enough for Al Del Greco to atone for missing an earlier field goal from 29 yards away. It is good, and the defending AFC champions win their 8th straight by a score of 9-7. But even in defeat, the Steeler D impresses. No touchdowns for the 5th straight game, and though Tennessee had the ball for nearly 40 minutes. But in the end, Pittsburgh loses to first-place Tennessee for the 7th straight time.
There's a reason why the Steelers haven't given up, prior to this game, a touchdown in 47 possessions. They're playing very well on defense. And Bill's done a great job with his club. His offense will come around, but he's got a very, very fine and well-coached defense.
As I mentioned, the Steeler defense left Nashville with their streak still intact. No touchdowns through 5 games. But in the locker room, that streak meant little. The one that really mattered, 5 straight wins, was over.
You know, it was a close game. I mean, we were playing against a top defense. I mean, so you're not going to score a lot of points. And we just didn't win the football game, you know. I just think both sides of the ball, you know, made plays, but we didn't make the plays when we should have.
Being in the situations that we were in, having opportunities and coming up short, but, you know, grinding it out, and all of a sudden, you know, sticking with it and coming out with the touchdown. That, you know, that's what football is all about, you know, just sticking with it and, you know, not putting your head between your legs and feeling sorry for yourself.
They seemed to bounce their way today. I mean, you know, they did a good job of keeping the ball in the second half.
And the offense put a lot of pressure on the defense today, and the defense played very well in my eyes. But, you know, the offense just has to go out and put some points up on the board because the defense can't do it all.
Played them hard for 60 minutes. I mean, that's the type of game it was. It came down to the last 2 minutes of the game, and it was a 4th down play. We stop them, we win.
I like the resiliency. I like the look in the eye on the sideline, the way we responded to situations. And this team is going out on the field expecting to win. And we've created that scenario. We've created that mindset. And we're not going to lose it with this effort today.
Well, Tennessee did pile up 364 yards of offense on Sunday, holding the ball for over 39 minutes. How did they do it? Let's ask our Steelers insider.
When you look at the difference between these 2 football teams on this day, I think you have to look to 2 words: roll out. Steve McNair and the Tennessee Titans used the rollout effectively to keep that Steeler defense enough on its heels to win the football game. It wasn't pretty. It looked like a bad heavyweight fight, but the Tennessee Titans showed why they're a Super Bowl quality team by defeating the Steelers and keeping the winning streak alive. In the meantime, McNair gained 50 yards rushing, but on the rollout, I've got to figure at about a half-dozen times he hit big key passes, and of course he moved the sticks and kept those drives alive. What I'd like to see is that Cordell Stewart, who completed only 7 passes today, go more to the rollout himself and play to his talents. I think that was the big difference today. One quarterback rolled out, the other one did not. With the Steelers Insider at Adelphia Coliseum in Nashville, I'm Bill Hillgrove for Channel 4 Action Sports.
Thanks, Billy. Well, this was a rough Sunday for Charlie Batch. The Steel Valley grad was booed by Detroit fans in a 23-8 Lions loss to Miami. Then he was knocked out of the game with a concussion. Week 10 was better for some other NFL teams. Our Week 10 tour starts in Cincinnati. The visiting Ravens did something they haven't done since September 24th. Score a touchdown. Trent Dilfer to Brandon Stokely. First Baltimore TD in 5 games. They score 3 more to beat the Bengals 27-7. The 6-2 Colts, the 1-7 Bears. The NFL's third-ranked offense shut down the first 30 minutes. Peyton Manning picked by Walt Harris. No relation to the Pitt coach, but he does score. 27-0 Bears at the break. The Colts came back, but fell short 27-24. Redskins at the Cardinals, but these birds became birds of prey. Stephen Davis drops the ball in the end zone, and Aeneas Williams takes it back. 103 yards, the second longest fumble return in NFL history. The Skins botched 2 field goals and falter 16-15 in Arizona. Jets battling the Broncos. The Miracle Makers from New York rally and get 4 shots to tie the game from the Denver 2. But Vinny Testaverde misses his man on 4th and goal. The Broncos beat the Jets 30-23. And finally, Tiger Woods proving human today, and Phil Mickelson took advantage. Mickelson shot 4 under 66, finishing the Tour Championship at 13 under par, 2 shots ahead of Tiger Woods. First time in 20 events Woods lost after having at least a share of the third-round lead. And the Steelers are in 3rd place tonight. Division title probably out of the question. Playoffs still a possibility.
Well, that's good to hear. Better than last year.
Yes, it is.
Andrew,
All right.
thank you.
Andrew. Stay right there.
We'll be right back.
We got movement! Go, go, go! Hang on, Light.
The next generation Subaru Outback comes standard with full-time all-wheel drive.
There it is! Over there!
It delivers incredible traction and control.
I see it!
So you can always be ready to face the unknown.
Did you see the size of that thing?
Yeah. They're kind of cute when they're babies.
Subaru Outback.
Now you can get 4.9% APR on the popular 2000 Legacy and Outback models.
Protecting our children. Nothing is more important. Amy's Law protects our children from those who would harm them. Fair Care helps assure they'll get the health care they need. Increased IDEA funding means a better education and a brighter future for all our children. Who wrote these pieces of legislation that will touch so many of our children's lives?
He has the experience to be president. A life of service from the Army in Vietnam to the Senate, where he broke with his own party to support the Gulf War. He led in the fight for welfare reform. Now his cause is prosperity for all. Improve education with new accountability and smaller class size. Pay down the nation's debt. Strengthen Social Security. Cut taxes for middle-class families. Save our environment. Experience, vision, values. Al Gore.
The difference? The Allentown Morning Call says there's a cloud hanging over Ms. Knoll, a securities fraud scandal that occurred during her second term. Barbara Hafer, the Post-Gazette said Hafer's been an able hand and should be returned to the job. And the Harrisburg Patriot News says, unlike Knoll, Hafer is a hands-on manager. They say Hafer has acted with wisdom and thrift. That's why every major paper that has endorsed Barbara Hafer. Barbara Hafer, honor, dignity, and integrity in the office of treasurer.
Finally tonight, a question. Where can you go to find Armani, Versace, and Calvin Klein dirt cheap?
You selling your clothes? Just kidding. Believe it or not, you can find that stuff in downtown Pittsburgh. The convention center is the place to be if you want designer duds for bargain basement prices. It's the annual Designer Days. You can buy gently worn and new clothes for a fraction of the price. Designer Days continues until tomorrow night.
I was going to say, that looks like your closet, right?
No,
Okay.
I wish.
Well,
that's Action News at 11.
thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
Channel 4 Action News brought to you by UPMC Health Plan. Choose a health plan as if your life depended on it.
This has been a presentation of WTAE-TV, Channel 4 Action News, taking action for you.
Uncover your shadow beliefs. I figured out today why I eat. And transform your life. Next, Oprah.
Monday at 4, followed by Action News.
Terry Van Horn voted to cut taxes by $7 billion.
So why does Melissa Hart keep distorting his record?
Maybe Hart doesn't want you to know that her campaign has taken thousands from big insurance and drug companies.
Or that she opposes a Medicare prescription benefit for all seniors.
Hart even wants to limit your right to sue an HMO when you can't get the care you need.
Terry Van Horn supports a real patient's bill of rights and a guaranteed prescription drug benefit for all seniors.
What will you give for Al Gore? Do I hear $10 million? 45? Sold. $50 million from Hollywood. Next up, George Bush.
Bush and Gore are for sale to the highest bidder. They'll work for special interest groups, but for you, they'll do nothing.
The two Beltway parties are bought and paid for. We are not. This election day, help us build a third party that puts Americans first.
When Governor Bush said during the debate that he brought people together to pass the Patient's Bill of Rights, he knew in his heart that that was absolutely false. Nurses worked long and hard to pass this legislation and hold the HMOs accountable for denying medical care to people. He fought it every step of the way. His constituency was the insurance industry. That's why he vetoed it.
Individually, they are standouts in their respect.
This is a national sales alert from Dodge. Effective immediately for 5 full years. Get 0 APR on 2000 Dodge Stratus and Intrepid, 0.9 APR on 2000 Dodge Dakota and Durango, and 4.9 APR on the all-new 2001 Dodge Caravan. See your Dodge dealer immediately, as these 60-month finance offers can save you over $5,000.
See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Who wants to be a millionaire on 4? On Action News from 5 to 6.